Want to start by saying big win for our guys. We're super excited. That locker room is absolutely fired up. But take nothing away from the University of Washington Huskies, former conference mate of ours going back to the Pacific Coast Conference back in the day. Nothing but respect. Another state university, a flagship university for their state. So it's always fun when we get a matchup like this. As I said in our preseason press conference, two things. One, it was excited to get us in front of our alumni, third largest alumni base for the University of Idaho in Seattle, Washington. We had a lot of excited crowd or fans and alumni today. While that stadium was absolutely rocking, one of the top places to play and one of the rowdiest places to play in the country, not everybody can just walk in here week one with a new offense and get a W. So we're absolutely thrilled with this result. And to the second part of our preseason press conference, we talked about how the conference thinks that we're the best conference in college football. And with that, we've got to start putting together some showcase wins. And I think that was showcased today. You look at this game, a top 15 win out of the gates on ESPN, national television, over a Big Ten team. That's huge. We're not even getting votes right now in the top 25. I don't know how. We finished every season basically in the top 25. But for whatever reason, coaches in our own conference, coaches in other conferences, media, nobody's giving us respect, which just adds to our fuel because we really think we have a special team this year. And we're excited to go out there and show everybody it every single week. And I know there will be some talk about how the passing game did not exactly show out like it hasn't much of the last couple months going into last year. But I think at the end of the day, Ficken did exactly what we wanted him to do. Ficken, Portland, Oregon, he had a lot of family in town. He easily could have tried to make some plays outside of what we had scripted for him. Tom Brady won a lot of Super Bowls, not just because he's a great quarterback, but because he's a great game manager, and that's what we got out of Ficken today. 204 yards. It might not seem like it, but he threw for 204 yards. He threw the ball 24 times, completing 18 passes, 75% completion percentage. I mean, that's what we want out of Ficken. We just want him to control the game, 3 out of 4 complete. We'll be happy with that all year, and we'll be hosting a trophy at the end of the year. And then when he adds 40 yards and a touchdown on the ground, we love it. We love it. So Ficken had a game. I know it's not the numbers that some of the people want, but, we don't want show everything. We've changed up our playbook this year. We've got a fun one. We got a mix of the go and the old spread option, Chip Kelly, that our offensive coordinator installed this year. So obviously a little bit of a slow start to it, but we did exactly what we wanted to with that. Focused on the run. And I think that goes to show what our game plan was, or our game plan is, and why it's successful. At the end of the day, we had 14 third down conversions and completed 11 of them for 78%. You get there by not getting behind in the sticks, not putting yourself at 3rd and 8 or 2nd and 12 because you get sacked or something like that. That's because you just run the ball. You get 3-4 yards at a time, and we were able to convert all but 3 of our third downs today. Only had to go for it on 4th down once, so it's not like it was one of those games where we're just throwing spaghetti at the fridge all day hoping something sticks. This was exactly what our game plan wanted to be, and nothing is more evident and nothing makes me prouder than this statistic right here. Time of possession, 24 minutes to 11 minutes. We almost 3-1 them in possession. At the end of the first quarter, my SID told me they didn't even have a minute of possession. We had milked the clock so well. We had 3 drives, I believe, with over 10 plays, multiple going over 4 minutes. Exactly what we want out of our team. We want to burn teams down and just wear them out, and that's exactly what happened. You saw in the 3rd and 4th quarter our run game, which didn't have a ton of holes early, got us in all those 3rd downs, able to break those holes out in the second half of that game because their D-line and linebackers were just tired at that point. So we were really excited. Some notable performances for them that I would be remiss if I didn't bring up. Gabari Johnson, the transfer from Oregon State, chef's kiss, man. Absolutely phenomenal. 21 of 27, 77 completion percentage, 326 yards, and only 1 touchdown, and only 1 sack. But what those stats don't show, and anyone that watched this game knows, he got out of probably 3 to 4 more sacks, and 1 was for a huge 80-yard touchdown on their first drive of the game. So, while that might be his only touchdown, they were set on play 2 of the game to be 2nd and 20, but he dumps out of some sack and just throws an absolute dime to LaTroy Combs, who also I want to shout out. LaTroy Combs, man, this kid out of Bountiful, Utah, phenomenal. 6 catches, 130 yards, 1 touchdown. I'm telling you, it felt like he had a lot more than 6 catches out there. I don't know if the stats guys just got tired of writing all of them, but he was an absolute killer for us. We had to absolutely change our game plan for him, and it's funny when we were looking at the stats going into this game, hadn't had big numbers, so absolutely came out of nowhere. Excited to see how he finishes this year. I think he's got a Heisman chance if he can put up similar numbers like that. Because, hey, at the end of the day, they threw 326 yards against us. We think we have the best pass defense in our conference. So, this is no slouch of a team. So we're really excited for how this result came out. And there's one last shout-out, and then we'll move on to questions. Shout-out to Devon Jackson, their corner, that just made a phenomenal play there in the third quarter that really I thought might have cost us the game when Ficken made his – I won't even call it a mistake because it was just that good of a play by Jackson where he just – and, the route was there, the first down was there, and he just made a play on the ball. Reminiscent for the Seahawk fans that were in attendance, but this one going for them where just a phenomenal play. It was not Malcolm Butler this time for the Patriots, but it was Devin Jackson for their Huskies making a phenomenal play. So that's it for my opening statements. I'll take a couple questions, and then we'll get out of here because we got a quick little plane trip back to beautiful Moscow, Idaho.
Cam Packer here. Did this shocking victory establish Idaho as a legitimate contender in the Pac-12, despite being unranked in the preseason polls?
Yeah, it's early in the season to make, such absolutes. Do I think this is a good win for us to prove our legitimacy? Absolutely. I mean, from scores I'm hearing trickling in around the conference, not a lot of teams picked up wins this week. And, not everybody was going against a top 15 team. And I've heard, I believe, currently Northern Iowa is leading top 10 Kansas State. And, and that's the game of the week right there, right? They're on ABC. They're stealing eyes from our game here on ESPN. But, Northern Iowa's ranked 16. So are they expected to win that one? No, but it looks like they're going to. So that's a big win there, kept our eyes on. But, a lot of the other teams are losing close. So I do think it's a big win for us. I caution that we still have 3 out-of-conference games and a whole conference slate before we make things like establish ourselves as legit contenders. Our conference is going to be tougher than anything we play out of conference. So a little too early to tell, I'd say.
How pivotal were Sky Priestley and Jamal Ficken in turning the tide against the heavily favored Huskies?
No, I mean, we talked about it in the preseason. Sky Priestley just getting snubbed. No respect on anybody's name or from any of these coaches. Jamal Ficken, same thing. Ficken has killed so many of these coaches. Nobody's, outside of 2 guys have ever been able to really shut him down. Even in games we lose, he absolutely goes off 95% of the time. Not a single vote for preseason all-conference player. I know Sky's a little bit more under the radar, and that's kind of on our media team not pumping him better. But, despite all the hype last year, we had a lot of really good running backs in our conference. Grossman and the 2 guys out of Montana. But one thing nobody talks about is, hey, you look up at the stats at the end of the year, who led the country, not just the conference, country, in yards and also yards per carry with at least 100 attempts. Priestley. Yards per game as well. I mean, he absolutely he was the best running back. We game plan around getting the ball to multiple guys. So maybe he didn't have the touchdown numbers that some of these voters would have liked. But, I mean, Sky Priestley also has beaten up so many of these coaches with just huge back-breaking runs, 80, 60, 70 yards plus. But, unfortunately for him, he's a part of a stable of backs. And he still puts up incredible stats while being part of a 3-headed backfield. So I get maybe why he doesn't get the votes. But, it's games like this. We don't win this game without Sky Priestley. And I think you're seeing a lot of other teams struggle because they don't have a Sky Priestley. And that goes for Jamal Ficken, too. Is he going to throw for 5,000 yards like Barrier and 56 touchdowns? No. No. But is he going to complete 75% of his passes, protect the ball, run our game plan? Absolutely. Absolutely he will. And that's exactly what we want him to do. We want him to be our Tom Brady. Tom Brady was a good quarterback, great quarterback, elite quarterback, but he was a perfect game manager. And when you combine those two skills, just like Brady, we plan to put multiple rings on our finger more than getting Jamal Ficken any MVPs. But luckily for us, both Sky and Jamal both understand that. That's why they committed to the University of Idaho over some of the other programs in this country. It's because they're not in it for the individual accolades. They're in it for the championship. And we really do think that the pieces come together this year. That we've got a real shot to reward them for their hard work.
With momentum on their side, how will the Vandals maintain this high level of play going into the rest of the 2027 schedule?
Yeah, it's weird saying we have momentum on our side when we only won by 4, but I get it. Top 15 team. Again, I get it's an upset, but we honestly feel like we should have been ranked better than the Huskies. I think we were a better team than the Huskies. You play that game in the Kibbe Dome, I think we boat race them. Props to them. Their fans came out. They made it difficult. We had to change our offense around from what we wanted to do just due to the crowd noise. They were in it all game, and we weren't able to really put them away, so we were able to do what we want to do. So in that credit, in that aspect, I'll give them credit. But momentum one game in, that's going to be us all year. Want to know. I know people hate it, but we want to have momentum after every single game because that's one more win. That's our first win. It's our last win. Want to know? It starts next week against Nevada. Rivalry game for us. Maybe not what we consider our rivals, but traditionally and what the people running the ship call our rivals. So we're excited for that one. A chance to go down to Reno and hopefully beat a pretty good Wolfpack team. And I haven't caught anything on their game today. I don't know if they're playing week 0, so we might be their first opponent. So we'll have no game film on them, and they'll have a pretty good idea about us. So by no means do we have an advantage next week by any shot of imagination, but we're excited for it. All right, well, thank you guys, and excited for next week. Go Vandals and V's up.